Yeah, let's go. We came a long way. That's what the song say. And I could do all things. I could do all things. Yeah, I could do all things. Yeah. We came a long way. That's what the song say. And I could do all things.
So, super important point, super important topic. But yes, understanding that part of the equation is important. Okay, so now we know who we're going to talk to. We know what the plan is. We know where we're going to talk to them. So we selected the platform to make our funny videos. Now we need to know what we need to say. And so this is the heart of the conversation where we actually generate that content. So let me just show you guys something real quick. Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay, so right now on my screen, I just have like just a sample data set of some things that you can do to make a calendar for your social platform. So essentially, this is what the calendar could look like. So you'll have your content out there, you'll have your primary content, and then you have one that's going to post. This is a PSA for all you guys out there. Super important. Another important topic. Write this down. I'll wait a couple of seconds so you can get your pen, but you need to write this down. A social media calendar is not a retail calendar. I repeat, a social media calendar is not a retail calendar. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of people say I need social media postings and they use a social media calendar, but that calendar is not necessarily a retail calendar. A retail calendar talks about ideal times for you to sell products and services to customers. That is your Mother's Day. That is your New Year's. That is your Christmas. That is your Thanksgiving. That is your holiday. People are receptive to purchasing products and services on those particular times of year. So you need to look up a retail calendar, not a social media calendar, because a social media calendar is going to have things like Donut Day. Most people are not going to celebrate Donut Day. They may have things like White Sneaker Day. I'm just making stuff up, or Black Sneaker Day, or whatever. It's stuff that is out there that is promotional, but it's not necessarily for sales. So you want a retail calendar, and that's what businesses use to plan their year. So that's a super important point. You want a retail calendar. In terms of the breakdowns for this retail calendar, there's going to be two types of retail that we're going to look at when we're setting up our calendar. So the first one is going to be like a community-based calendar. So a community-based thing can be like, let's see, tax season. That's a community thing. Everybody in the States, tax day and that sort of thing. Everybody's talking about submitting taxes and tax refunds. That is important. Mother's Day, that's super important. That is something that we celebrate as a community. The other side of the thing is going to be those personalized events. Personalized events are going to be things like graduations. Graduations can be community, but in general, they're more personalized. So you have your graduation parties and celebration. They can have various times during the year, but typically that is personalized. Your weddings, that is going to be personalized. That is specific to that individual or that group, for that smaller group for that particular time. So those are two things that we need to be aware of when we're setting up this particular calendar. So when we're going through this calendar, there's going to be a couple of things that we need to do to get the calendar set up. So one is to set the calendar up such that we understand what a primary and secondary topic we're going to cover for the month. So if you look in the calendar that I have on my screen, you'll notice in column D, we have April Fools and Easter. Or if we go down to March, we have graduation planning and Mother's Day. For these calendars to be successful from a retail perspective, we need to identify at least two talking points for the month. So when we're making that content, those funny videos, those social media posts, that they're going to be relevant for the topic that we're going to be selecting for that particular month, that highlights our products and services. And so you see what I did right there? All of that stuff that I was just talking about, from the goal to identifying who we're talking to, how we're talking to, what we're going to say, that all goes into the content process, creation process, such that we know what we're going to say, how we're going to say it. And then that has really, really high potent value for our consumer. The example that I have here, I have April Fools and Easter. I think that in terms of ease, let's talk about this wedding season, this April Fools and Easter. And so that month is going to be in April. So in April, we're going to say this is the beginning of spring-ish time, and so people are getting ready for their weddings. That's going to be there. Easter, um, another major event. People are going to be doing photo shoots and things of that nature. You want to be able to promote content that is sharing about your cosmetic dentistry practice along those lines. That's going to highlight that particular event in relation to your business and your services, and then make the funny video on top of that. And then again, we have to start thinking about these things in terms of long term. Wedding season, people may not be getting married in April. They may be getting married in a couple of months from now, but we want to get them into the office in April, so that way they will be ready for that wedding day. We can take care of any cavities, if this is a destination wedding, we can plan around that and say, okay, so wedding season is coming up. We can take care of the teeth whitening. We can take care of teeth whitening for their entire bridal party, and we may offer a discount on that teeth whitening. And so then we guarantee that we have bookings for that particular service. This is why the planning is super important for your dental service. And then on top of that, we can think about the other environmental factors like tax season and refund. So now people have extra dollars in their pockets at this point of the year, and then they can take that and purchase those teeth whitening services for their wedding that's going to happen. Another thing that is a highlight point for this would be the building of the content. So when people are building these content packages, a lot of times they just shoot the video and then they post it to social media. I challenge you to plan it at least 1 month to 2 months prior, so that way you have time to adjust and to select the services that you want to promote, and then you can schedule it with a scheduler tool. There's plenty of applications on the market, but that gives you the ability to have a more controlled and structured promotional process for your cosmetic dentistry practice, as opposed to just shooting out videos and not knowing where they're going to go. And after you make those videos, you should be able to correlate the content that you're putting out there in terms of sales and converted customers, because then you've put in the work and you've aligned that. And the reality is, this actually, to plan it out like this, it takes less work because you already have a plan. It'll take a little bit of work up front, but you already have a plan about what you're going to talk about, why you're going to talk about, who you're going to talk it to, all those check boxes that we went through. And then that allows you to connect with your client in a better process, in a better way. In terms of tools that we use to promote the content, we use tools like Publer. So Publer is like, it's a tool like Hootsuite or Buffer, or there's so many tools on the market, but this allows us to generate the content and then schedule. And then we don't have to have someone physically posting the content on those various social media platforms. So that way you have some consistency behind it as well. So that way, if so-and-so is not sick, or if your patient load increases, you don't have to worry about generating that content for that day, that week, that month, because it's already in the queue. And if you miss that planning day to upload it in the queue, you can always do it later because you already have stuff up there already. All right, everybody. So, I mean, that is the heart of the calendar. The calendar, this planning for this 12 months, it's super important, because when you're planning for the month, we're going to lay out everything from January to February. I typically tell people to build out 3 months at a time, so you don't get overwhelmed. So at this point, we're in October, let's say. I would start planning content for January. So January is going to be a content month where people are new year, new beginning, a fresh start, that sort of thing. It's also going to be an opportunity as part of that fresh start where people can start to utilize new benefits. And then after I have that, I would build my content structure around that and have that all ready by December for January. Then after that comes February. And then in February, you're going to start talking about content. Let's say it's people that have fallen off the wagon in terms of their new beginnings and their resolutions. You're going to promote that again. And then I would also promote some of the other items like Valentine's Day. So you can do small makeovers. People can give those as gifts to their significant other, or they can give it as a gift to themselves. I mean, there's nothing wrong with giving yourself a gift on Valentine's Day. I mean, it's super important, but like in terms of that, you can take that and you can build that content and you can promote it such that it's offering your products and services. And so then you go to March and then you would stop there. And then you build your next batch. And then you go to April, May, and June and talk about some of the other items. But that gives you like a really solid structure in terms of what you can do to promote your products and services. And then it gives you an action plan. If stuff was working great, where you can focus on, or if stuff is not working, you can pull that back. Anyway, that sums it up for this particular session. Anyway, I want to know your thoughts, your comments. Put them in the comments below. Again, if you have the opportunity, do that thing, smash that like button. All right, guys, I'll see you all next video.
Yeah, we came a long way. That's what the song say. And I can do all things.